Yeah, good evening, friends, and welcome to another interview preparation session. So today we'll be discussing some questions on Python. So let's take the first question. How is memory managed in Python? Yeah, so memory management is basically, let me write, it is basically done by Python private heap space. So the memory management is done by Python private heap space, and all the Python objects or data structures are located in this heap, and the programmer, the user, doesn't have any access to this private heap. Only the Python interpreter has access to this space, and the allocation is to this heap is done by next Python's memory manager. Yeah. So the core API gives access to some tools for the programming of the code. And also Python has a garbage collector inbuilt, garbage collector. So this, what it does is it recycles all the unused memory so that more memory is available for heap space. So basically using these three things, Python manages memory. Okay, so let's take the next one. What is Python path? Friends, so if anyone knows what is Python path, okay, so basically Python path is an environment variable which is used when a module is imported, and whenever a module is imported, the Python path is also looked up to check for the presence of those files, and also the interpreter uses it to determine the module, which module to load. So next, what is a Python module? Okay, so basically Python modules are the files containing Python code functions of classes and variables, and it is basically a .py file which contains some executable code, and some of the common examples of Python module are OS, then SYS, then we have math module, then random, then we have date time, so etc. Okay, so let's go to the next one. What are local and global variables? Okay, so basically global variables are those variables which are declared outside of any function in the, we can say, in the global space, and these variables can be accessed by anyone in the program. And local variables are those which are declared inside a function, and only that function can make use of these variables, or any function which is inside that function, or basically anything that is inside that function can use those variables. So anything outside that function cannot use the local variables. So next is Python case sensitive. So basically this is a yes or no question. So basically I'm asking that if I define x equals to 1, and then I define x equals to 2, then is the value of x 1 or 2, or both? Basically I'm asking that. Yeah, so friends, yes, Python is a case sensitive language. And if capital X equals to 1 and small x equals to 2, then in case if we find out the value of x, so capital X is a different entity and small x is a different entity in case of Python. So both values will be taken in the memory. So next is indentation required in Python. So is indentation required in Python? And if it is required, then where? Yeah, Shubham, where is it required? Yeah, so basically, indentation is very much necessary. And basically, indentation refers to a block of code. So we generally see indentation in case of loops, classes, functions, and many other places. So whatever is there inside the function, we have to indent it to represent that it is inside that function. So basically we take, means the default spacing is 4 space characters, and if proper indentation is not done, then it will also throw errors. Yeah, Shubham, correct. Okay, so next, what are functions in Python? What are functions in Python, and what do we use? Which keyword we use to define a function? Shubham, correct. So basically, a function is a block of code which is only executed when it is called, we can say. And to define a function, we use the def keyword or def keyword. Then what is underscore init function? What is this underscore init? Okay, so basically the INIT function, it is a method, or we can say constructor in Python, and this method is automatically called whenever we create a new object or instance of an object. Also, when we create, it is automatically means called, and its main job is to allocate memory. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So what is lambda function? Okay, so lambda function, or also known as anonymous function. Uh, so basically, this function can have any number of parameters, but only one statement. So let me give an example. Like we can write a equals to lambda x comma y, then function x plus y. So given x and y, we are basically doing the sum of x plus y. So basically, when it is called this function, we can call this function as print then a, then x and y, taking 5 and 6. Then if we use this one, then we'll get an output as, sorry, as 11. 5 plus 6, 11. Okay, so coming to the next question, what is self method? What is self in Python? Okay, so basically, self, we can say self is an instance of a class, or also it is an object of a class which is explicitly included as the first parameter. So the self variable in the init method, it is a variable in the init method, and it refers to the newly created object. Yeah. So coming to the next one, what are break, continue, pass in terms of loops. Okay, so break. So when we use break inside a loop, so it allows termination of the loop when some condition is met. And yeah, so when that condition, when we encounter a break statement inside a loop, then what happens? The control is transferred to the next statement after the loop. And in case of continue, uh, we can, yeah, so we can skip some part of the loop using this continue. So whenever we encounter a continue in the loop, what happens is it doesn't go ahead to the uh, codes in next to the uh, continue in the loop, and it goes to the next iteration. And pass function is used to block means is used when we don't want to use a block of code and skip its basically we can skip its execution. So we can say pass is a null operation. So what does this function do? So what is the significance of this one? So it is basically inside a square bracket we have two columns and a -1. Okay, so basically this we use to reverse a list or a sequence. Reverse sequence. Next question is, how can we randomize the items of a list in place? So basically we want to randomize the items of a list. So how can we do it? Okay, so basically we can randomize the items in place by using the shuffle function. We can use the shuffle method to randomize the list. Okay, so next question. How can we generate random numbers in Python? Yeah, so friends, we can generate random numbers in Python using random module. So basically we can call the import the module, import module random. Yeah, so import module, then random. So what it does basically is it will generate a floating point number in the range of 0 to 1. So it will randomly generate any number between 0 to 1. Similar to this, we have rand range function a comma b, which gives the range. It will give us any integer in the range a to b, any random integer between a to b. Similarly, we have uniform a comma b. It will give us any floating point number between a and b range. So basically, these are those. Next, how can we write comments in Python? Okay, so we can use the keyword hash to write comments in Python. Also, we can use doc strings to do commenting. Doc strings basically are those documents, we can say, means those with comments which are in between triple quotes. We use triple quotes to represent doc strings. Okay, so next one. Okay, so let us do some string functions. So how can we capitalize the first letter of a string? Okay, so I've missed a question. I will be asking after this. So we can capitalize the first letter of a string using the capitalize function. Okay, so next, what is pickling and unpickling? Okay, so basically pickling method is when we have a Python object, and basically we are doing pickling on it. So we use pickle module for this. So what happens is the Python module converts this object, pickle module converts the Python object into a string representation and dumps it into a file using a dump function. So basically this method of dumping this file means first converting into string, then dumping it into a file using dump function is known as pickling. And the process of retrieving this Python object from the uh, pickled object is called as unpickling. Okay, so next, so how can we convert all the letters to lowercase? Yeah, so basically we can convert all the letters of a string to lowercase using lower function. So the next question, What is the purpose of is not and in operators? Where are these operators used basically? Okay, so we have first is operator. So basically when we can compare two operators by this, and it returns true value when they are equal. So when we can write A is A. So basically, as Python is a case sensitive language, so it will, if we run this on the Python console, it will give us false, as these are not equal. And if we had written uh, A is A, then it would have given us true. Yes, A is equal to A. Okay, so coming to the next, not. So basically, it gives us the reverse Boolean value. So if we do not true, then it will give us false. Basically, it does that. And for last in is a operator which checks if some element is present in a sequence or not. So we can check if s in strings, if we do, so it will check if s is present in strings, and if it is present, it will give us the true or false value. So as s is present, it will give us true value here. Okay, so next question is, what is the usage of help and dir function? So what is the usage of help and dir in Python? Yeah, correct, Shubham. In is used for finding variables. Okay, so help function is used to display the documentation or documents. Yeah, basically it displays the documentation, and it also facilitates you to see the help related to modules, keywords, attributes, etc. And for dir function, so it is used to return a list of attributes and methods of any object. So whatever attributes or methods the object has, we can see using dir function. Then, okay, what is a dictionary in Python? Okay, so basically, dictionary are a built-in data types in Python. So it defines a one-to-one relation between key value pairs. So basically, we can say it has a pair of key and a corresponding value for this. And basically, dictionary are indexed by keys only. They don't have any other kind of indexing. Okay, so next, what are arcs and KW arcs? What are arcs and what are KW arcs? You might have seen these arcs and KW arcs in error statements before. If we are using Python, so what are these? Okay, so args are used when we are not sure how many arguments to be passed in a function, or if we want to pass a stored list or a tuple of arguments to a function. And args is used when we don't know how many keyword arguments are to be passed. And it can also be used to pass the value of a dictionary as keyword arguments. Okay, so next question. What is split, then sub n method in RE module? So basically, RE module is regular expressions module. Okay, so let's take the split function. So basically, split function uh, uses a regex pattern to split a given string into a list. So basically, it splits a given string into a list. Next, sub. So sub finds all the substrings where the regex pattern matches, and then replaces them with a different string. So we can use to replace definite means a specified substring. Then sub n. It is similar to sub, and it also returns a new string along with the number, means similar function as sub only. Okay, so let's take the this is the last question. After this we'll be closing. So what are negative indexes, and why are they used? So what are negative indexes and why they are used? Okay, so first, what are negative indexes? So negative indexes are the indexes like -1, -2, and they represent the. Okay, let me write a sequence first, then we can show. So if we have uh, take A, comma B, comma C, then comma D. Let's take these 4 characters. So if we have ABCD, and if we take it as X equals to this, and if we take X of -1, then it will give us the value D. So basically the negative indexes starts from the last. So D is -1, C is -2, B is -3, and A is -4. And a thing to note here is when we are doing positive indexes, we start with a 0. But when we are talking about negative indexes, we start with -1. So there is no 0. As if we write 0, then it will consider A only. So don't confuse their friends. So basically negative indexes are from reverse order indexes, we can say. So where are they used? So negative index is used to remove any new line spaces from a string. Means if we have spaces in the front, then we can remove by using negative indexes. Also, it is used when it is used to show the index to show the index to represent the string in correct order. So basically, those two are the uses. So friends, we will be closing here today. Thank you.